It might just be me, but it feels like there's been some people making some really cool art over the last couple of months. You know, the kind of stuff that makes you feel all warm and tingly inside. I want to use this opportunity to look over some of it. Right now, let's have a summer roundup. My name's Doug. This is Fwtv. First up, one of the most overlooked but jaw-dropping projects comes from the Madrid-based artist Spy. Primarily known for his quirky off-the-beat interventions, his latest project, Luna, showcased a giant step in his vision. To celebrate 50 years since the moon landing, Spy created a sculptural replica of the moon, lifted it on top of a multi-story building, put it on top of a crane, and then dangled it off the edge. The results were stellar. For some reason, Spy only has 5,000 Instagram followers. For the love of God, go follow him right now. For those that follow the scene closely, the names Axel and Baz Velasco should be enough to get you wet round the edges. I'm not sure about that. For those that follow the scene closely, the names Axel and Baz Velasco should be enough to make your heart pound like you were Scarface after a big night on the chop. While the two have independently unique styles, there was a natural fit for them in terms of both concept and aesthetic, and I think that's what really made this collaboration so exciting. Zojit. Long-time watchers of this channel will be excited, because this is the part where I butcher someone else's language. Zojit, or birds, was done in Kosovo, and it takes a look at the notion of placement, or rather displacement, migration, and how an environment can control and affect matters like this. There's a much more poetic and concise description of the intent behind the piece, and I'd strongly recommend checking out the artist's Instagram for something a little bit more substantial. Actually, while we're on the topic of Axel, he recently dropped one of the most beautiful graphic murals I think I've ever seen in my life, and before I show you the image, I'm just going to give you a heads up. When I say graphic, this is graphic, so if you are squeamish, then look away now. Boom. All they asked for was an image of Mickey Mouse holding a boombox. They're gonna be livid. For so many, this mural would be completely unacceptable. But if we take away the societal constructs that tell us that this is too graphic to be seen, this image, this close-up, this snapshot unites every single one of us from every culture around the world, and not just existing now, but that has existed for millennia. And that for me is an incredible talking point. Big up yourself. I can't do that. And for me, that is an incredible talking point. I'm a big fan of the artist Marina Zumi, and I've really enjoyed watching her develop these light installations over the last year. Last week for the Swedish festival Artscape, she created this walkthrough light installation that was kind of like Van Gogh meets Berghain. And I think this dark sensory exploration really sits well with her artistically, and I look forward to seeing where she starts to take this in the future. While we're on the festival tip, it looked like Alice Pasquini had a great year for her festival in the mountainous region of Civita Fwtv in Italy. The Civita Festival was set up as a way of drawing awareness and raising money to help protect the small little village that's under threat from natural disaster. I've got so much time for these little independent festivals that really kind of embed themselves in the local culture and get the support from the residents that are going to be hosting the artists and the artwork. For me, this generates something so much more united. Finally, what is sure to be one of the standout installations from 2019 came from a California-based architect, Ronal Rael, who realized his vision of challenging the border wall between the US and Mexico. Simply by fixing on a couple of large bits of metal, the symbol of division was turned into one of peace and unity. Now, Rael has actually been talking about this subject matter for years. In fact, he's even written a book on this installation called Border Walls versus Architecture. It just goes to show that no matter what your background, the world is your playground, and sometimes the most effective executions come from the simplest of ideas. I'm going to leave you now with a couple of pieces over the last few months. If you enjoyed this video, tag your friends in it. Share the love, and I will be with you next time. My name's Doug. This was Fwtv. I was going to show you a bunch of street art, but I've just been editing this video and I realized in the background I usually put like a little book or a magazine or something like that I think is kind of cool, and for some I decided to put this in there, which is this like graphic novel about these little mice running away from the Nazi cats, and I thought, oh, that'd be sick because it was really cool. But all you see in the background of this entire video is the swastika. I just want to be clear, this is not some Nazi propaganda stuff. This is like Pulitzer Prize winning kind of literature. So I hope that isn't misinterpreted in any way.